I'm Ashton Addison from BlockQuest Capital for InvestmentPitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews with Markus Franke, partner at clabs working on Celo. Markus, welcome to the show and thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you, Ashton. Exciting to be here.
Yeah, exciting times right now. Celo is working on some interesting initiatives that I think are really going to increase interaction into the cryptocurrency space through mobile, which is really needed. And so many people are, primarily using mobile only right now. I would love for you to kick it off for us with a high-level overview of Celo, and then we can dive into the details.
Exactly. Yeah, happy to talk about that. And you already said it. A lot of people in the world have access to a mobile phone. Currently, 8 billion mobile phones are out there, and the Ericsson Mobility Report estimates that there will be close to 9 billion smartphones out there soon. Celo's mission is to build a financial system that creates the conditions for prosperity for everyone. And when we talk about Celo, we typically say that Celo is mobile, open, and real. Mobile in a way that Celo is built mobile first, so that you can easily access it from every mobile phone. Open means it's open source, it's based on proof of stake, and it's permissionless. And real means it supports real use cases, peer-to-peer transactions around the world, decentralized finance for people to use it easily on their mobile phone. So real use cases on your mobile phone.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thanks for the overview, Markus. And it seems like there's a lot of different mobile wallets that have been popping up, and they're all sort of working on different things. When your team came and started Celo, what were some of the problems that you pinpointed in the industry that really needed to be solved in driving those mobile solutions?
Great question. And in general, there are, as I said, 8 billion smartphone subscribers in the world, but not a lot of cryptocurrency users currently. And most cryptocurrency users are active in the crypto ecosystem as developers, as traders, as other projects. But less people are actually using cryptocurrencies for real use cases, for end-to-end or peer-to-peer transactions, for payments, for remittances, for saving, for lending. And one of these problems that there's basically not many people who use this technology, for example, for day-to-day transactions. Also, many people don't have access to traditional banking system. That was why we chose from the start to build for mobile, or to build mobile first, because, as I said, so many people have a smartphone. So to make this technology actually inclusive, we wanted to enable it on smartphones. Therefore, Celo now is, as I said, mobile first, an open source blockchain that makes, for example, remittances very easy to send at a small fraction of current cost. Today, I can send a Celo dollar or a Celo euro to any phone number around the world, and it arrives in 5 seconds because the block time is 5 seconds, and the transaction fees are very, very low, and I just need to know the phone number. And it's actually very hard to build for mobile, not only from the blockchain perspective to enable ultra-light clients to sync with the network. It's also hard for example, the designers to build a mobile-first wallet, because you have to focus on the most important things, and you want to build it in a way that people everywhere can interact with it, can use it, can understand it, and therefore open source is the way to go. And building for mobile, therefore, for us, made a lot of sense to give more people access to crypto. A second reason why people didn't use cryptocurrencies for day-to-day transactions was that cryptocurrencies typically are very volatile. So Celo also has embedded stable coins on the blockchain as I said, Celo dollar and Celo euro are the first two stable coins that live on Celo. And in future, we hopefully see many more currencies like a Celo real or Celo peso and many more. These stable coins enable people to make all these transactions, saving, lending, purchases, remittances. And embedded stable coins actually means these stable coins or the smart contracts that govern these stable coins allow you to pay for gas fees in the same currency as you do the transaction. So if I send you Celo dollar today and I send you $1, I only need to know your phone number. It arrives in 5 seconds. And I can pay for gas in Celo dollar as well, and it's less than a fraction of a cent for this transaction.
Wow, that's incredible, and that's huge barriers to entry have been broken with that. First of all, just having your phone number only, you don't really need to have understanding cryptography and cryptocurrency wallets and Ethereum addresses, and then being able to pay the fee in the same currency that you're sending it in is also a huge advantage. I know a lot of people that got a ERC20 token and then they realized that they needed Ether in their wallet as well to actually be able to withdraw that token and send it. And a lot of people get confused about that. And I think that's a major barrier that is prohibiting this mobile access to be sending remittances around the world really easily. So that's really great to hear that your team has the stablecoin. You're already working on more coins. Very interesting that you mentioned the 5-second block time as well. So within 5 seconds, you don't have to be sitting there if you're buying a coffee, waiting for the transaction to confirm, holding up the line. And I'm guessing that that's all to do with the Celo proof of stake and the blockchain as well. Maybe you can talk more about the technology. How did you get it to become so fast, and those advantages with it being proof of stake on the network?
Yes, great questions. Happy to talk about that. So what you mentioned are a few of the nice platform features of the Celo blockchain. In general, the Celo blockchain is a layer 1 blockchain that is proof of stake. It has on-chain or supports on-chain governance. So the community can actually vote on validators of the blockchain, but also vote on future governance decisions by holding the Celo native asset, which is the utility and governance asset. Then there's this support for ultralight clients. So even very simple smartphones can interact with the Celo blockchain. And this is 700,000 times faster than other chains. But Celo is also a fork of Ethereum Gas. So it is EVM compatible. With optics, we are soon now launching also bridges to all other EVM compatible chains. And Celo also supports smart contracts. So if you're an Ethereum developer, you could either use bridges between the Ethereum blockchain and the Celo blockchain, so that you can have your applications on top of Ethereum talk to also Celo blockchain. But you could also port over your applications, since also Celo, as a fork of Ethereum, smart contracts are written in Solidity. I mentioned the gas feature, which is important, I think, for transactions. And this feature is implemented for the first two stable coins that currently live on Celo. So for Celo dollar transactions, you can pay in Celo dollar. For Celo euro transactions, you can pay in Celo euro. And then one other nice technical feature is this public key interface, the phone number. So basically it allows people to send Celo dollars by simply clicking on a contact in your mobile phone and therefore basically a hash of the phone number is linked to a public key. So your phone number stays private, but as a user, I just only need to know your phone number. And if you already have a Celo wallet, then the transaction arrives within 5 seconds. If you don't have a wallet, then you get a text message saying that somebody sent you a Celo stablecoin, and that this stablecoin is held in a escrow smart contract, and that you can unlock with getting a wallet on Celo.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks, Markus. And you mentioned there about developing in dApps for an environment and having it EVM compatible, which I think is a huge advantage for the bulk of blockchain developers that are already coding on Ethereum. I'd love to know more about the environment for creating dApps on Celo and how you're going to incentivize developers to continue to create dApps on the environment.
Yes. So if you're a developer and you're considering building your dApp on Celo, there's celo.org/developers. There's tons of documentation there to learn about the SDK and how it works, also about how the code works. There's also a link to the GitHub repo and a link to the SDK code base. There are also several tutorials so that it makes it very easy to build your applications on top of Celo, but there's also a link to the code base of the core contracts of the blockchain so that you can find out about Celo and how it works. There is Celo Foundation, and Celo Foundation gives grants for developers, especially if you're a developer catering a certain market. Then you should look up also on celo.org the grant kit that basically has all the information you need to how to get a grant. And actually today or yesterday also Celo Camp is starting again, taking in applications. Celo Camp is a bootcamp / incubator with really great mentors, great prices. So you can look up Celo Camp and also go through a bootcamp type of experience to learn how to develop on top of Celo. There are also ecosystem funds that invest in projects that want to build on top of Celo. So also tons of incentives to build your business or your application on top of Celo.
Definitely, that sounds great. Grants, incentives, a foundation, EVM compatible. Nice work on laying out a lot of different incentives for developers. Now, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to hear about your team and some of the things that may be coming out from now until the next few months and the end of 2021 that Celo is working on primarily.
So the C-Labs team is currently focusing a lot on interoperability, working on this optics. We had a lot of interaction with the Ethereum community last week in Paris at the Ethereum Paris conference, where we introduced optics in a event series that was called League of Bridges, and where we described the bridges to all these other EVM compatible chains. And I think this interoperability is super important, because now you have Celo as a blockchain that enables all these mobile first transactions and bridges to all these other great chains out there that have their assets on top and other use cases. So interoperability will be on top of the list. Another thing that is on top of the list, I already also mentioned, is to issue more and different currencies on top of Celo. Celo Dollar and Celo Euro are the first two, and we hopefully see a lot of adoption for these. But we also have active communities, for example, in Brazil, that would like to see a Celo Real that is following or tracking the value of the Brazilian real. That is another focus. And then there's also a focus on the Alliance for Prosperity. The Alliance for Prosperity is a set of mission-aligned organizations around the world that would like to enable their users and their clients or their their partners Celo technology. And we like to expand this Alliance for Prosperity. There are great organizations, mobile carriers, charity organizations. There are also builders of all sorts, and creating a vibrant ecosystem where people have enough on and off ramps, where people have enough merchants as well, that allow for payments in Celo currencies. I think that makes this blockchain then very strong.
Definitely. I think the on and off ramps will be of much importance, so people can buy things locally, and that expansion of currencies also sounds very important. So I'll be watching as your team continues to develop and release those updates throughout the rest of 2021. You mentioned a lot of sources for developers to get involved with Celo. I'm curious, for the viewers and people that are actually looking to utilize these payment networks, for them to get involved, and for fans of the community that just want to learn more and get involved in the community, what's the best way for them to learn more?
There are so many ways. And actually, I would like to add one more thing about what is on the roadmap. Celo is carbon negative, which is really cool. It is already more efficient in terms of emissions than, for example, proof of work blockchains, because it is proof of stake. But there is also a offset of carbon emissions on the protocol level, to keep it currently carbon negative and maybe to have it carbon neutral in the long run. And we are also looking to add nature-backed assets to the Celo ecosystem. So we would really like to see something like tokenized forest on Celo in future, or we already have a token that is tokenizing carbon credit. So I think also here, this technology can make a big difference. And if people would like to check it out, how to build on top of Celo or what Celo is in general, first starting point would be the webpage, celo.org. There is a chat on Discord. If you would like to ask your technical questions, you can find that under chat.celo.org. There's a Celo Telegram channel that is more and more active. There's a lot of documentation on docs.celo.org. There's also a nice Medium blog which showcases new developments from Celo. And as I said, you can also check out Celo Camp, this bootcamp that is starting now, and see if you would like to apply there.
Great, Markus. Thank you for that. Tons of resources. I will leave those all in the description box below. All the best with everyone at clabs and Celo moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
Yes, that would be great. Thanks a lot, Ashton. This was fun.